I'm Tim Kittro, and here to bring home the bacon are Big Ryan the Fat Guy.
Hello, football fans. We are live for the NFL Week 7 Picks Against the Spread video for the 2020 NFL season. Fat Guy, we are 41, 49, and 1 for the season. I know it looks bad, but 8, 5, and 1 this week. It's looking up, Fat Guy. I don't care what you think. We're going to go straight into the picks. Thursday Night Football, New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are 4-point favorites at home. 77% of early bettors are on this 5-star entertainment Thursday Night Football game. Who you got?
In the league where they play for pay, I like the New York Giants based on economic and market factors. Now, my gut really is saying the Philadelphia Eagles, partially because the line moved for some from 5.5 to 4. A lot of the line movements in the early have been triggered by some of these New Jersey books, which are putting out lines very early, it seems. And it opened at 4 on Pinnacle, correct, Big Rye?
It opened 5.5. It was bet down to 4 on Pinnacle.
Okay, so this isn't one of those examples. We'll get to it later. But yeah, the part of me that likes the Eagles is I feel like I'm getting a good number on it. But the market factors are still strongly pointing in the direction of the now winning New York Giants. Well, they won one game. They were able to eke out a victory and not cover against the Washington football team, Redskins, what have you. I'm going to do it all year. I'll say it again. So 4 points, it glosses over a lot of key numbers. 5.5 clearly would have been better, but it's really not that much different. But I do like the New York Giants because of all the market factors. And it's a divisional game on prime time. Yes, I know Thursday isn't the real prime time, but it's going to have to be in this case. 4 points seems like too many, even though I'll be honest, my gut is harking on the Eagles a little bit. And going on handicapping factors, there's a lot of underwhelming aspects about the Eagles. I mean, injured O-line, probably one of the worst wide receiver groups we've seen, Big Rye, in I don't know how many years.
Yep.
Well, we don't put too much stock into those types of things, and wide receiver is one of the less important groups according to us. But I still like that just might give me a little bit more inkling into liking the New York Giants. I do think they could win this game outright. My gut does say Eagles, but I always go with the market when it has this strong of a factor. Let's take the New York Giants. Let's go Big Blue.
Next up, let's move on to Sunday, where we'll start off with the Green Bay Packers traveling to Houston to take on the Texans, who are 3.5-point underdogs at home. 33% of early bettors are on Romeo Crennel and the Houston Texans. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I mean, I kind of liked Green Bay at -2.5, but now I like Houston at 3.5. This is a gun to your head show, and so you have to take a team every game. And at 3.5 points, I'm going to be taking the Houston Texans. Fat Guy, does it really make a difference? The 1 point between 2.5 and 3.5 sure does. It's the most important point in all of NFL gambling, between 2.5 and 3.5. That has been negated a little bit because of the missed PATs, making 2.5 often a key number, but the most key number still is 3, even though it's come down a little bit in recent years. I'm going to be taking the 3.5 points. Texans having a really nice showing, really nice against the Tennessee Titans, who are undefeated and one of the stronger teams in the NFL. Going to overtime, coming back. Nice game from Watson. He is at home. I'm not sure how much that really matters, again, in these type of pandemic consequences, but 3.5 points is too many. Although I did like 2.5 when it was Green Bay. All of this being said, why I don't love it as a middle, we've been bringing up middles a lot. I like middling plays when the over-under is low. And the over-under, could you refresh me, please, Big Rye?
The over-under for this game is 56.5.
Yeah, which is quite high. A lot of the games went over early, and so they've been pushing higher totals throughout the season. So 56.5 is very high, and that makes what I consider middling plays. That makes middling plays in those types of circumstances less valuable because with such a high total, there's more score variance. Let's put it because it's more likely that more points are going to be scored. Not that the game couldn't finish 3-0, although that would be incredibly unlikely. All of this being said, we're playing the market, we're playing numbers, we like prices, and the price is right on the Texans at 3.5.
Fat Guy, next up, the Dallas Cowboys travel to Washington to take on the football team, who are also 3.5-point underdogs. At home, 39% of early bettors are on the team. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, here we go. The team, the Washington football team, the Redskins. Buy this now. This is a bet of the week. This is a flash buy. Buy the Redskins. Buy them right now. I love it. 3.5 points at home, whatever, against this Cowboys team. Now, I probably do have a biased reaction considering I've watched this insanely woeful performance on this stream with Big Rye. Be happy to join us on Sunday nights and Mondays. But the Washington football team, I don't see them as 3.5-point underdogs against this Cowboys team. This is a market play. This is a handicapping play. And there actually are handicapping factors. Zach Martin went off injured during the Cowboys game. I don't know if he returned, and I don't know if he's going to be healthy going forward. He's one of the key cogs of the Cowboys offensive line who has taken some severe hits. They lost their all-pro center in Travis Frederick to retirement earlier in the season, in addition to Tyron Smith, their all-pro tackle at left tackle. And then they also lost La'el Collins, a heavy regular and very strong player at right tackle. And they look just weak on the offensive line, especially with Andy Dalton, who's far less mobile than that of Dak Prescott. You got to remember the strengths of the Washington Redskins. They have one of the most formidable front sevens in the entire league. This should be mincemeat for him, I would imagine, Big Rye.
That is true.
Oh, I'm glad he had his input on that one. But considering the talents of the Redskins, this is a really good matchup for them. I like the direction of the football team. I have more faith in them, and I think that they're going to be able to win this game outright. But if I get 3.5 points at good juice, I don't want to lay like minus 120 at 3.5. I would just tease it down. I don't ever really tease up. I'll sell points, but I don't like buying them very often. So 3.5 in the contest, 3.5 with a bet, 3.5 good juice. And if I have to take the money line because it shifts by the time I look at it after this video, then so be it. I'm on the Redskins. I quite like them this weekend. Let's go football team.
In all seriousness, no, when Connor Williams is your most well-known offensive lineman, that's not a good sign for the Cowboys, who have really built this team around having a strong offensive line. So it's just a completely different Dallas Cowboys team. They're 0-6 against the spread to start this season, and still the books are overvaluing them as 3.5-point favorites on the road against Washington. Next up, Fat Guy, the Detroit Lions travel to Hotlanta to take on the Falcons, who are 3-point favorites at home. 38% of early bettors are on the Falcons. Fat Guy, who you got?
This is one of my least favorite games. I mean, it would make sense in this, to take the Atlanta Falcons, but I'm going to be taking the Detroit Lions. This is really a coin flip for me. I'm not too hyped on either team. Falcons able to get their first win against Minnesota. 3 is probably about right. Lions able to blow out Jacksonville. Who's the better coach team? I would gather that an interim coach is better than Matt Patricia, which makes the Falcons play a little bit more intriguing, but I still have to lay 3 points, which is probably right on that number. It's a little bit too close. I don't like this game to bet on. I don't like this game in the contest, but I'm going to be taking the Lions in the points just because when in doubt, take the points. It's a really good rule of thumb, and I'm going to be following that credo this week in the contest, not in real life.
Fat Guy, next up, the Buffalo Bills travel to New York to take on the Jets, who have been bet up to 12.5-point underdogs at home. 37% of early bettors are on the Jets. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, speaking of when in doubt, we decided last week not to go with the with what we usually do and take the unpopular team. But the Jets are just performing at such a disgusting clip that it's really, really hard to take them. Is there some movement on this line? I believe it opened as Bills minus 10.5.
Yeah, 10.5. It's gone up to 12.5. And even last week when we didn't take the Jets, we had them at or the Dolphins at 5.5. That line moved all the way up to 10.5 at one point, and then I think it settled at 8.5. So we were on the right side of that line movement. Maybe this time around, though, we're not on the right side of taking the Bills. So the Jets are the optimal play as of now.
Yeah, I think they are. So we are going to be taking the Jets. I'm really curious is like the resistance point for the spread. Like, where is it where pros start buying back? Is it now? Is it 14? Is it 14.5? I'm unsure of this market. I really am. In your comments, maybe if you're an early commenter, maybe write what you think this line should be, because I think the Jets are confusing everyone, including the book, and maybe not the highest of pros. I mean, this game in theory should really be talent-wise. I mean, Buffalo's clearly better than the Jets, but I mean, this is really a 7.5 point game. Wouldn't you think, you're Big Rye?
Yeah, 12.5 is a lot of points, but the Jets have been bad, and it's hard to put money on bad teams, and the Jets are there.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, I don't want to take the Jets. I think I like putting money on them. I'm probably going to this weekend. I'm going to see if I can't get a better number, or I might just leave it. Because, I mean, Jets at 14 in a divisional match, double-digit dog, divisional game at home. I mean, I know they're bad. I know they're the worst team in the league, but, you know, the book doesn't just put out a number to lose money on, right? Week after week. And I feel like they're going to have to inflate these Jets lines to at least balance it by like 5 or 6 points from what it actually is. And this might be another iteration. In the contest, I'll take it right now at 12.5. And I might just sprinkle a couple shekels on the Jets. Maybe if we get to 14, maybe 14.5. 14.5 is definitely a buy number for me. I don't love it, guys. I really don't. And I generally stay away from teams that are like in severe turmoil, which is what the Jets are. But I mean, this is just just so many points. Like the Bills, I mean, they have had a 2-game skid, the Bills, but I mean, they lost to the Titans and the Chiefs. It's not really like the betting public can stomach that. The Jets getting shut out against the Miami Dolphins, they definitely can't. So I'm curious as to see how many people hammer the Bills. Because think about it, the fair weather bettor is probably going to add the Bills to a leg of their parlay. That's what I would imagine. And I'm hoping that this line creeps up, and then I can bet on the Jets, not comfortably, but a little bit anyways. Put in the comment section what you think the Jets line really should be. And you know what? Let's look ahead. The Jets are playing the Chiefs at home. Write in the comment section what you think that line should be, because that's a really interesting one. I'm not going to say what we've said on stream. You can join us to pick our brains, but that's one that we're really looking forward to because we're curious, because it's a tale of two cities. Chiefs are like an all-time team, it feels like, over these past couple of years, and the Jets have turned out, you know, probably the worst 6 weeks I can remember, aside from the Dolphins last year. And I get that they're back-to-back, but those are pretty bad. Of course, you throw in the old Browns and the 2008 Lions. But, I mean, these Jets performances have been absolutely woeful, and 12.5 was going to be the number now. 14.5 to put real money on, and I'm curious what it's going to be down the line.
You know you're listening to a gambling channel when the New York Jets is the hottest topic of the entire podcast.
Yes.
Fat Guy, next up, the Carolina Panthers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints, who are 7.5 point favorites at home. 55% of early bettors are on the Saints. I know this is one that we talked about in stream as one of the early lines we were looking at. So, Fat Guy, in the contest, who you got?
Oh, we love it. We like the Carolina Panthers. Now, this is one of those teams where I feel good about, because it's not like you're just getting like the leftovers. You're just getting whatever people don't want in the Jets. You're getting, like, I want to bet on the Panthers. I want reasons to bet on the Panthers. And 7.5 points, God, that's my number. I love it. I don't love it at 6.5. I'm okay with it at 7. 7.5, bingo. That's the one we want. I like the Panthers in the contest. I like betting on them. And they're a team I trust, too. So I really feel these are two middle-of-the-pack teams, more or less, with the Saints on the little bit of the higher end and the Panthers on a little bit of the lower end. but they're divisional rivals, and a 7.5 points just feels like too many. Even Dylan Toddfield, cue the music, would probably feel the same. 7.5, Dylan. Can you really argue this one? It's probably a bit too much. You're going to take them anyways, but it's going to be tough to cover this spread. Are the Panthers that much different than the Chargers? Who gave them a great run, also on the road in this very same situation. Panthers have a better record from what I understand, and they're just one of the teams I think is competitive. They're harder to blow out, and I quite like them. Give me the Panthers. Give me the points.
And sharps are on the Panthers as well, just as a little tidbit. Fat Guy, next up, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals 3.5 point underdogs at home. 55% of early bettors are on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'm going to go with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I'm generally a Browns fan. I usually wear their gear. I got Raiders stuff on today. Maybe I've worn Raiders more this year. I'm not really sure. But the Browns were disappointment as usual. Not able to win. Well, they never win in Pittsburgh. We did take them in the contest and in real life, and they were disappointing. Does that really change who they are? I don't think so. They are better than the Bengals, but 3.5 points on the road I think is too many. The Bengals, they had a bit of a collapse against the Indianapolis Colts. They really could have won that game. What was their biggest lead, Big Rye? 18, something like that?
They were up 21-0 at one point, I believe, going into half.
I thought it was 18. Regardless, that's just a huge amount to blow. But you know what's good is it doesn't give confidence to bettors. They were able to cover, though, and I like their prospects of covering again against the 4-2 Browns. When people look at it, they're going to be, the Browns lost to the Ravens and the Steelers, which are really strong teams. So the public might have a misconception that the Browns they lose to the good teams and they beat the bad teams. Well, I have a feeling this Bengals team is going to be able to give them a run for their money. The Browns were able to cover weren't able to cover in their earlier meeting. I think it was a 0.5 point closing line. I think they won by 5, or they won by 6, and the spread was they won by 5, and the spread was 5.5. If memory serves me correctly. We do this in one take. So this is all coming out of my brain, so do bear with me. But that being said, it's usually the other way. I guess it's a revenge game for the Bengals, and I do like them. The Bengals have definitely improved as a team, whereas the Browns are probably the same as they have been. So give me the Bengals, and I'm going to take 3.5 points at home in a divisional matchup. I don't mind this one either.
Yeah, Browns won 35-30 in week 2 against the Bengals.
There we go.
Fat Guy, we're continuing with the Sunday early game. Steelers at Titans. Titans 1.5 point underdogs at home. 45% of early bettors are on the Titans. This is a 5-star entertainment game. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I mean, we're gonna take the small dog at home. We're gonna take the Tennessee Titans. I know people complain a lot. Oh, you just take the underdogs. Well, yeah, we usually do because people like the favorites. That's why they're called the favorites. It's where the term comes from. The Steelers, are they really better than the Titans? I'm not sure. This does seem like a coin flip game, especially with a little bit of travel from the Steelers. But I'm going to get some juice. Now, in real life, I wouldn't be taking the Titans unless the spread moved to 2.5 and at like minus 104. Or I'd just take them in the money line. I don't mind the Titans there either. Could the Steelers blow away the Titans? Absolutely. Titans can have leaky defense performances. Point in case, they were pushed to overtime in a comeback effort by the Houston Texans, and the Steelers could they blow them out? Absolutely, but performances like the one Derrick Henry had are capable against someone like the Steelers, and I'd like to see another vintage Derrick Henry against. This is a true test against one of the league's best defenses in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Tennessee Titans. I want to take the points if I can get a line movement to 2.5. 3 would be great. 3.5 is never going to happen. But I do have a feeling it's going to stay right here, and then I'll just take them on the money line. Give me the Titans in the contest. Give me the money line in real life. Titans and the points.
Fat Guy, onto the midday games. We'll start off with Seattle at Arizona. Arizona's 3.5 point underdogs at home. 30% of early bettors are on the Cards. Fat Guy, who you got?
I mean, I always bet against the Seahawks, and Mr. Massey, one of our a local and one of our big contributors here, as far as effort, time, and comments. He wants me to take the Seahawks at least once a year, and I'm gonna try and find it, but this isn't gonna be the situation. Arizona's got to be the play. I mean, I would probably buy now though, because that performance on Monday night was just it's not it was like beyond a domination. They beat the Cowboys in every facet, offense, defense, special teams. They look good. It looked dynamic too. They're at home. I'd like to see some of those run plays that they were able to pull off against Seattle. I mean, Murray only completed, what was it, 9 passes, something like that. He was horribly inefficient, oddly enough, for I think 9 for 24. And I'd like him to be better, to be perfectly honest. There we go, said it again, against the Seattle Seahawks. But I think that they have a reasonable chance against a defense that I don't. Clearly, the Seahawks are better than the Cowboys, but it's not like amazingly better, right? I think the Cardinals could have a similar offensive performance. They do have to worry about the best player in the league and perhaps the most dynamic offense in the league right now in Seattle. A lot of weapons there, but this whole handicapping stuff takes a backseat to what we really believe in, which is betting against the public. And the public loves Seattle, and that means I like the Cardinals. So you guys make your choice. Not you guys necessarily. Our viewers seem to be a little bit sharper than the average knife. But against America, I want to go with the Arizona Cardinals, and I like my chances on this one as well.
All right, Fat Guy, we'll continue with the midday games with the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Mile High to take on the Broncos, who are 9.5-point underdogs at home. 62% of early bettors are on the Broncos. Who you got?
Well, my guess is this 62%. I know I'm kind of flipping it with how they are. Is don't forget the Chiefs played. This is filmed on Monday night, so the Chiefs played this Monday. So I would imagine that a lot of the 62% was a look-ahead line bet on the Sunday. So this is before that game even happened. So that means a lot of these guys were betting with perhaps an injury, a probability of an injury in mind. So that's why it's probably a little bit lopsided. How many bets are placed on this game? If you could take a look there for me, Big Rye.
As of now, there's 340 track bets, and on average for these games, there's going to be about 12,000 for the midday games, and probably a little bit more because it's the Chiefs. So we're looking at a very, very, very early market of this. So the betting percentages are going to be probably like 60-65% in favor of the Chiefs when it's all said and done, depending on line movements and where they want this line to sit. But the Broncos are definitely not going to be the more popular bet, no matter what the line is.
No, absolutely not. And that's really good commentary. So that I didn't know that number going into the commentary I said about people betting with an injury probability in mind. The Broncos, I think this is early sharp money. It really is, and it makes sense to me. The Broncos plus 9.5. I mean, divisional game, 9.5 points in the only place I think that still has significant home field advantage. Denver. I like the Denver Broncos. I like 9.5 points. It's not a huge betting opportunity for me because I hate laying significant money against the best teams in the league. I generally like I said, betting in the meat of the pack. However, I still like them for a wager. If I were gambling on where the line will move, I think it's going to sit right here. Maybe cap at 10 by the most. The Broncos had a weird performance getting a 6 field goal McManus win against the Patriots in an 18-12, we'll call it a almost stalemate. I guess the Broncos really had the lead for most of the game, and they were a little bit more efficient. And Phillip Lindsay had a nice game as well. All of this being said, the Broncos are capable. They're a little bit better than people would think. They're a physical, nasty team. I like them at home, and 9.5 points is just too many in a division rival, I believe. Give me the Broncos and give me the points.
Next up, San Francisco travels to Foxborough to take on the Patriots, who are 2.5-point favorites at home. 43% of early bettors are on the Pats. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, it's a do up, do down, and I'm going to take the team that's due up versus the team that's due down. Patriots losing a game they should probably win against the Denver Broncos. So, and then San Francisco defying America. 70% of Americans on what was that big rise? Sunday Night Football.
Yep, 72% wanted
72%
to
taking
take
the LA Rams.
Yes.
Over the San Francisco 49ers. That was a nice cash for Big Ryan and I with the 49ers victory. With that fresh in their minds, this line is a nice, juicy 2.5. I would take it now. Let's take the Patriots. Let's lay the points. When do we get to take the Patriots at home? And we're not laying them any. 2.5 is great. This is a great number. Against a 49ers team that I don't think is going to travel as well. And this is a big travel, don't forget. San Francisco to the entire East Coast. And I don't know what the weather implications are right now, but if it does get a little bit chilly, I do feel it slightly favors the Patriots. And I think they're going to game plan well. Give me the Patriots. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points. And I'm feeling good this week. We had our first decent winning week this past one. So I'm feeling a little bit cheery. Maybe a bit overzealous. Maybe I'm a bit biased. But I do have confidence in the Patriots. I do have confidence in Bill Belichick. And, they might be 2-3, but I could see this team coming back. I could even see them winning the division. Give me the Patriots, and I'll lay the points.
I'm going to call it now. This is going to be a 5-star entertainment game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 7.5-point favorites at home. 39% of early bettors are on the Chargers. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, you got Herbert against Minshew. It's what we've all been looking for. It's the Week 7 Super Bowl, mind you. Jags are really bad. Chargers have looked quite impressive considering they just impromptu had to switch to a rookie after a doctor lung puncture to Tyrod Taylor a few weeks ago. Herbert's looked pretty good. That game against the Saints was very convincing. Chargers have lost a lot of close games and are perhaps better than their record has been. But 7.5 points, I think, is too many. For me, I'm just going to take the Jags. 7.5 points is just too many. It really is. It's over a touchdown. Falls over that key number. Could they blow out the Jags? Sure. Did the Lions just do it? Yes. Could you do that where you move categorically almost? I'm not using the right term here, but because you do a logic, circular logic where, the Lions blew out the Jags, but does that mean the Chargers are going to? No. Could the Jags turn out a good performance? Yes. I mean, they beat Indianapolis in the first week. I mean, things are possible. All I want is a competitive game. I don't really see how I'm going to bet on this game. It would really be a small sprinkle on the Jags, if anything. But all I really want is a competitive outing. I mean, clearly the Chargers are a better team, but 7.5 points is just too many. And not to mention, too, you do have the luxury of a rookie quarterback. It's kind of nice to bet against them when they're a heavy favorite, right? 7.5 points is just too many when they are privy to mistakes, right? And even little mistakes that compile, i.e. procedural, pre-snap, that kind of stuff. They rarely have that type of stuff worked out. And so despite Herbert having good performances, let's see him have a good performance against a team he should beat, not a team he's not supposed to, like the Saints. Give me the Jags, and let's just hope for a good performance with the 7.5-point spread.
On to Sunday Night Football, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Las Vegas to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 3-point underdogs at home. 43% of early bettors are on the Raiders. Fat guy, who you got?
I like the Raiders. I really do. They've come off a bye. They beat the Chiefs. The first time the Chiefs have lost in, 15 games? They've only lost to the Raiders, realistically. Does that mean the Raiders are due down? Sure. But you could say the same about the Bucs. They had a classic performance, let's call it a 38-10 drubbing of the undefeated Green Bay Packers. And I think there was 38 unanswered, if I'm not mistaken. Again, this is all from my head. We do it in one take. Off we go. That's why sometimes I refer to a fact check. But sometimes I'm going to gamble on the old bean, and I'm pretty sure it was 38-10. All of that being said, I think the public's going to be a little bit hyped on the Bucs. I'm hoping to get 3 with good juice, 3.5 at medium juice if I'm lucky. If the line trends down, I already have the Raiders on the money line for a little bit worse. Perhaps I could get it. Perhaps I would double down on that. Maybe just leave it. I do like the Raiders. I don't want the price to slip anymore, though, because 3 is really all I can bear. Give me the rate, I guess 2.5, but I mean anything worse than that. 2.5 is good juice. 3, give me the 3 points with the Raiders at home, and hopefully they can have a good performance against the Bucs. Although they haven't fared so well against Tom Brady, but the Bucs are a different team. This is a new year. These are the new look Raiders.
Fat guy, on to Monday Night Football, where the Chicago Bears travel to LA to take on the Rams, who are 5.5-point favorites at home. Only 24% of bettors are on the Rams early. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, I don't love it, but I am taking the Rams. Another do-up, do-down situation. I did love, I'll be honest, the Bears at +7, but that 7 line only opened in certain spots. I believe the New Jersey books, as I had mentioned earlier. So, I mean, I would have considered even a middling play if I could have got 7 and 5.5, because I feel like this will be a lower scoring game between two of, I guess, are we going to call them the premier defenses in the NFL right now?
It's fair to say they're both very strong defenses and have played well this early season. The over-under for the game is 46.
Which is still very high, but 50 has been in the norms lately. So all of that being said, the reason I would even consider a middling play, obviously you've missed that boat on it, is because it's a little bit lower of an over-under. And don't forget, I'm not forgetting star defenses like Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Baltimore and Pittsburgh every year, it feels like. But I do like the Rams slightly. This isn't early percentages, and the 7 points did speak to me for the Bears. But at this point in time, I'm going to be taking them in the contest, the Rams, and I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach when it comes to wagering. You know, who knows? If it moves up, I'll take the Bears, and if it moves down, I'll take the Rams. As it is, I don't quite love it, and I could change my mind leading closer to the game. But laying 5.5 points in the contest will be what's in store. So let's take the Rams that are due up against the Bears that are due down.
All right, fat guy, on to the lightning round. Start off Thursday Night Football, New York Giants at Philly.
Giants in the points.
For the Sunday early games, Green Bay at Houston.
Texans in the points.
Dallas at the football team.
Football team in the points.
Detroit at Atlanta.
The Lions in the points.
Buffalo at the New York Jets.
Whatever. You know, the Jets in the points.
Carolina at the Saints.
Panthers in the points.
Browns at the Bengals.
Bengals in the points.
The final early game is Pittsburgh at Tennessee.
Tennessee taking 1.5.
4 midday games. We'll start off with Seattle at Arizona.
Cardinals in the points.
Kansas City at Denver.
Broncos in the points.
San Francisco at New England.
Breaking the monotony, and we will lay points this time with New England.
Final midday game, Jacksonville at the Chargers.
Jacks in the points.
Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Las Vegas.
Vegas in the points.
Chicago at the LA Rams on Monday Night Football.
Laying 5.5 with the Rams.
All right, fat guy. Let's talk about the 2020 Week 6 leaders between Cassone and Billy 369, who both went 11-2-1 for Week 6. This isn't the first time Billy 369 has been on the leaderboard this year.
Billy 369 has been tearing this contest up, and aren't these guys neck and neck for overall leader?
We're going to see that soon, but before we jump any further, it's time to spin the wheel. Cassone, Billy 369, who could it be?
New York's finest, Cassone with the win.
So congratulations to Cassone, everybody's favorite. Spinning the wheel. Week 6, picks against the spread.
Pinks.
Winner, Pinks against the spread. There we go. That's going to be name of the week next week. But let's take a look at this Week 6 leaderboard. Again, congratulations to Cassone for winning the T-shirt for Week 6, going 11-2-1, as well as Billy 369, both 11-2-1. Johnny's and Rigged NFL both go 10-3-1. Beavis and Butt Fumble, Wook Dog, Cash James, Corey Andy, Big Morg, all 9-4-1, and Fat Guy. Dare I say it, we narrowly squeaked in as a tie into the top 10.
Probably because our name starts with a B. There are probably other guys with 8-5-1, but we'll take it. We will take alliteration 10th. Alphabetical 10th. There you go. Got it right the second time.
And then picks against the spread leaderboard. Both Billy369 and Cassone have taken over the lead, both with 57 wins. Cassone has played one less game, but 64%, 63.3%. Very, very, very impressive start to this against the spread season. We also have Insert Clever Pun, who's been on top for most of this contest. Fleabit, Peanut Monkey, Big Rye stole my hair, and Fat Guy gave me COVID. It hurts when I fart. Electric Bolts, Mad Capper, can't think of a name one, and crowd favorite JS715. All right, Fat Guy, on to the JS715 name of the week. Honorable mentions. I'll let you take it from here.
Big Rye outkicked his coverage. Now, it's a joke going back to our live streams happening every Sunday and Monday evening, mostly referencing Big Rye's marital situation. Sports Guy shows premium teasers for premium picks that are 70 plus, because you guys all know it's very easy to hit 70% plus against the spread. There's another channel that doesn't buy their views. There's Beavis and Butt Fumble, of course, referencing the butt fumble by the Jets, and perhaps trumped by the butt interception by the Jets this weekend. Big Dick Fat Guy at 9. Well, you know, if you're going to allude to me having a 9 long, I'm not going to throw water on it. I'm going to promote it. It's true. It's 100% true. I had better picks for my nose. You probably do. Sprinkle some on the money line. It just flows. It's pros. Feels great. And Wook Dog. Now, that's not the name of the week. Honorable mention, really. But I want to give a shout out because he's the original champion. It was him and then Jake Jacobs. And who will it be this year? Will it be Cassone? Will it be Insert Clever Pun? Will it be Billy369? Will we come back? You're going to have to stick with us the whole year to find out and get that prizing. Now let's go to the
JS715 name of the week. Whoa, kaboom!
In the league where they play.
Another reference to an excellent sports show that gets more views than we do.
All right, Fat Guy. So everybody knows they can make their picks for Week 7 at BigRyanTheFatGuy.com, and there is a $100 prize for most regular season wins. And I have to take my time saying that out so I don't screw it up.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for you. I was waiting because, you talk so much during all of these, podcast shows, whatever, that I can understand when you make a mistake. You can fumble at the goal line. You can be Ernest Spiner. It's no big deal.
That's it for NFL Week 7 picks. The one thing, I'm going to throw you a curveball here, but we talked about the home field advantage in Las Vegas. Do you think it's a thing?
I mean, yeah, but everything's a thing. But the amount of win probability added to it is, I don't know, like probably 1%. That would be it.
So if you party in Las Vegas, there's a 1% chance you're going to lose to the Raiders. That's it for us. Good luck for your picks for NFL Week 7.